Hello and welcome to this episode of Your Personal Techie. Be less frustrated, be more proficient. I'm going to do a quick overview of internet browsers and tell you what they're all about. What really led me to do this video was a discussion I had with somebody earlier this week. I was helping them migrate from an older laptop to a newer one. And I asked them what browser they used, and they really couldn't answer the question. They knew they were clicking on what they called the E icon. So they'd click on the E icon and it would bring up a browser, and then they would search or look at a page of some sort and then go from there. But kind of the browser concept was foreign to them. So my main purpose is just to shed a little bit of light into what a browser is. So what I'm going to do here is, what is a browser? So right now I'm in one of the browsers. And I went to a web page, and so that's what browsers do. But let me look up what is a browser. And I'm going to basically find the Wikipedia link. And if you just simply read through it, it's a software application. It's something that gets installed on your computer, whether it's a PC or a Mac or Linux or your phone. It's used for retrieving, presenting, and traversing information from the web. So we all know what the web is, just a bunch of interconnected pages and documents and all kinds of things. You can find out who created the web, the modern web browser, and so on and so forth. But down here in the market share, it tells you the fact that there's a bunch of different browsers. You know, Google Chrome is the top of the list, with Firefox in second, and Internet Explorer and Safari and Edge and Opera, and the list goes on. So feel free to search this page, because you know what, it's got some great items here. You know, they all share kind of a common set of functions between going back and forth and stuff like that. I don't think that's what I really want this video to be about. I want you to know that there are options. Now the good news is, in the old days, meaning the 1990s and 2000s, even though browsers shared kind of a common functionality, there are standards that they have to adhere to. They all added their own little features, and they weren't cross-platform. So you might build a web page specifically for Internet Explorer and add these features, but they wouldn't show on Firefox, and vice versa. Over time, though, they pretty much all conform to a very common set of standards. So when you look at a web page on one browser, it's pretty much going to look that way on a different browser as well. All right. So the good news is there's really not a lot of difference in terms of how the page looks. The main difference is, the main question is, well, why do I care what browser I use as long as it gives me a web page? And I guess at some level it probably doesn't. But the questions that I present to you and that I've kind of wrestled over time is, one, just the feel of the browser. I want a browser that just makes me feel good. I like clicking around. I like the look of it. I certainly want it to be fast. One thing that's important to me are bookmarks and the ability to kind of organize them. And then the other feature is, as mobile phone users, as obviously most of us have mobile phones, I like something that works very similar on my desktop and will work very similar on my phone. And that's primarily shared features like bookmarks and history and things like that. So right now I've got 4 icons on my desktop. These 2 came with my Windows machine because they're Microsoft products. I went and downloaded Chrome, and I went and downloaded Firefox. I will confess that I primarily use Chrome, and in a different video I'll get more into the fact of why I do that, and bookmarks and history and stuff like that is shared between the 2. So let me just simply open up each one of these real quick, and you'll just get this look and feel. So as we all know, a web page can be anything. And right now I'm sitting at google.com. All browsers have kind of tabs of some sort. You can click additional tabs to go to additional pages. I'm showing my bookmarks across the top, and there are certain extensions that I use. If I go to Firefox, Okay, very similar thing. I've got tabs across the top that I could continue to go to. They all have a web address bar that you could type directly a link. Like, for example, if I wanted to go to my own personal website, I could type it, or it finished it in my case. And then also Firefox has a bookmark manager, and there's certain extensions plugged in. Internet Explorer has been around a long time. I'm not sure if they're totally updating it these days. But again, it's got a real simplified interface. It's got a web address link up here that you type into. I have noticed that many times when I'm visiting other browsers, Google's always trying to push me to its Chrome, especially when I visit their pages. And then it's got its own little buttons over here. And then finally, Edge. That's the newest browser in the Microsoft family. Very simplified interface. Again, tabs, so you can have multiple pages open at one time. And then some features over here. So the look and feel is very similar across the board. So ultimately, when it comes down to it, it's your choice as to what you choose to use. If you want to go install something, like, let's say that you've got a brand new machine and all you have is Internet Explorer, then you'd certainly open up Internet Explorer. And if you're interested in Google Chrome, then you can type something like Google Chrome in the address bar, and you'll end up with a link. Like, I can download Google Chrome right now. If I want to download, download Firefox, then I'm certainly going to get a link for a Firefox download. And so it'll end up installing themselves on your machine. And like any other icon, you can find it after hitting the Windows Start bar. You can just type in Firefox, and you'll end up with a link or whatever it is that you want to find here. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. Just know that you have options. In another video, I'm going to talk about, again, why I choose Google Chrome and secondarily Firefox, and then we'll go from there. All right, have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.